everybody, it's Christian Evermore Podcast, Newcastle United Podcast, and Evermore YouTube channel. Just back with a post-match review following Newcastle United's draw today, 0-0 draw away at the Amex Stadium against Brighton. God knows how we got away with that. We're going to get stuck into a little bit of that in a minute and just run through how the game went really for us. Obviously, for those Trafford fans as well, going all the way down there, it wasn't exactly a fantastic affair, but we'll get stuck right into that in a minute. Just before I do a little bit of housekeeping, if you haven't already, please click that like and subscribe button. We're over 20 subscribers now, so I really appreciate everyone who smashed the button. Hit the bell as well so you never miss any of the videos. It really helps the channel grow. Hopefully going to push on to 1,700 soon with thanks to you guys who are smashing the button and loads more content coming for you. So yeah, might as well get stuck into this. So we knew it was going to be a bit of a tough game. It's a long way to travel for those dedicated away fans. I was seeing pictures on social media of people having beers in social clubs at 4 o'clock in the morning. I was seeing, people driving down in heat waves. I was seeing buses breaking down, people complaining about the M25. It's not an easy place to go, but Newcastle fans have been as dedicated as they are, made that trip. Gorgeous weather, a beautiful day, I'm sure, in Brighton. It's a great place to be, great place to have a few beers before the game. And I'm sure the experience itself was enjoyable, but we'll get onto the game in a minute. Maybe that quite wasn't what Newcastle fans were hoping for. But let's have a look at the starting lineup. The man of the moment, Nick Pope, was in between the sticks. He's obviously gone viral online, which has been absolutely superb to see, to be honest with you. We joined in as well from the Twitter handle as well. But yeah, it's been great to see Nick Pope blowing up on the internet. So I've got no idea if he actually knows what the hell it means, but I'm sure the lads have been having a good laugh in the dressing room with him. But the team was relatively unchanged except for one big change. Matty Targett pulled out with a dead leg that he sustained against Forest. So Dan Burn moved over to left back, and the Botman came in. Sven Botman came in at centre half to play alongside Fabian Schär, which we're all quite excited to see, to be honest with you. But the rest of the team was relatively unchanged, as it was against Forest, obviously with a dominating performance. But we said this before, I said this in a preview, Brighton away is a total different animal to Nottingham Forest at St James's Park. Brighton are a good side. A very well drilled, a very well organised, really good manager. They work hard, they press you off the ball, they use the ball well when they've got it. They started really well against Manchester United. Yes, Manchester United were poor, but Brighton were really good as well. They have lost, two of their better players, but it didn't seem to faze them today. I thought Brighton looked quite accomplished, looked quite steady. I thought we were poor, to be honest with you. I thought, yes, in hindsight, it's a great point. It's a hard point. I think a lot of teams have got the Amex and come away with nothing. So you've got to look at it and say it's a tough first away game. We've come away with a point, so it's not the end of the world. But if you look at the contrast in performances from Forest to that, it was it was night and day, really. I think trying to think of players that stood out really. I mean, the only player who really stood out probably was Pope. He made a couple of really good saves. One from the Lorna header stands out. Brilliant reaction save. He made a couple of other ones as well. He commanded his box well. He was quick off his line. I think that was the only real positive of the day, to be honest with you. I think Miggy worked hard as well. A couple of lovely touches, a couple of lovely turns, dropping the shoulder, leaving a player for dead, spinning in. Again, his final ball sometimes is a bit questionable. But short of those two players, I don't really feel anybody did anything particularly that well today. I mean, Bruno was poor for Bruno's standards. I thought he lost the ball a fair bit. He didn't have that slick momentum in his passing. He didn't look like he was controlling the game. Largely that could be down to Brighton, closing him down and not giving him time on the ball. Joe Linton was very poor today. The game passed him by. He started to lose his head a little bit when he was shoving players and getting yellow cards towards the end of it. Joe Willock looked completely different to the Joe Willock that was against Nottingham Forest. And for Joe Willock in particular, he has to have good performances to retain that place. Sean Longstaff did come on and didn't really do a great deal. I mean, the game was pretty much dead and buried then anyway. It was either destined to be a 0-0 draw, which it was, or someone was going to nick it 1-0, probably Brighton in all fairness. But Joe Willock has to put in performances, because if he doesn't, I think his position above everybody else's is probably the one that's up for changing out with the long-term injury to Shelby. I don't know whether we'll go to the transfer market and look at other players. I'll come back to that in a minute. But just finishing up on the game, I suppose. And if you want to look at the statistics, we kind of cancel each other out really as two sides. Brighton just shared the possession. They had 55% of the ball. We had 45%. But this is where the worrying thing is. Brighton had 13 shots to our 4 shots, 7 on target. We had 1 on target from 4 shots versus 13. Now, that's a bit of a worrying sign. I mean, we've got Manchester City up next. And if we play like that against them, we will get murdered. Yes, it's a different side. Yes, we're at home. That fortress of St James's, the war flags, the atmosphere, everything contributes towards that. And and you could have all that and still get beat off City quite comfortably. But today was a bit of a worry. I thought Wilson looked frustrated up front on his own. He didn't have a lot of help. So Maximum was garbage today, absolutely garbage. He lost the ball in so many key areas. And I'm not just making this a let's beat up St. Maximin, regime here, because everybody was poor, really, like I said, except for Pope and arguably Miggy in spells. But when St. Maximin plays in a game like that against a well-drilled side that's going to press you and make you give up possession, but then use the ball really well, when they get it back, you can't be affording to fuck around and do flicks and tricks. I mean, there was that one in the first half where I think they had a corner and it bounced out to him, and I don't know what the fuck he was doing. He looked like he was trying to drop a shoulder and flick it or spin away or something. And the Brighton player just come and got the ball and nearly had a goal scoring opportunity. It's things like that with St. Maximin that really fucking pissed me off. And I think it pisses a lot of people off. And I'm pretty sure it pisses Eddie Howe off as well. You can't be like that in games like this. You haven't got the freedom to do that. These teams are going to hurry you, press you into making mistakes, and you can't do that. I thought it was a complete passenger for most of the game, to be honest with you. I thought, short of a couple of passes that were half decent, one to make it edge of the box where he probably should have done a little bit better. I don't even remember St. Maximin doing much good in the game. I would have hooked him way earlier, and I certainly wouldn't have hooked him for Jacob Murphy. We know what Jacob Murphy can do, and it's not a lot. Jacob Murphy is a squad player at best. Jacob Murphy should be getting wheeled out against Tranmere in the League Cup. No disrespect to Tranmere. Jacob Murphy should not be coming on in a tough, tight Premier League game where you're looking to win the game. He's just not good enough. It's as simple as that, really. That whole performance to me just should act as a warning shot to the owners that this squad will be a mid-table squad at best. You will not push top 10 or top 8 with this squad. You need more quality, without a shadow of a doubt. Wilson was frustrated. He was getting pissed off. Fair enough, to be fair to him, his goal, if that's a high foot, I'm fucking Britney Spears. That was an absolute joke. If that's a high foot in modern day football, you might as well just pack up and fucking go home, because I don't understand how he can do anything else. His foot's nowhere near Dunk's head. I mean, Dunk's about at least 6 or 7 inches away from his foot when he flicks it over him, and he's already gone by him. So, things like that really ruin the game of football. Yes, the keeper did stop, in all fairness, and if Wilson had been able to get through and get a shot off, the keeper would be more alert. He might have saved it anyway, but that's never a free kick to me. I thought the ref was poor. He was a bit too whistle happy. Started dishing out yellow cards like it was Christmas at the end of the game as well. Could have possibly spiraled out of control, but credit to Trippier and Dunk as well. Both captains, they kind of controlled the players when Joe Litton had his little spat in the corner with Solly March, I think it was. But yeah, going back to the balance of the squad, I said this against Forest as well. You look at the bench, and there's not a lot on the bench there to really change a game like that. When a game like that is kind of petering out or cancelling each other out, and Brighton should have won that game. If Brighton had a proper centre forward, they'd have won that game comfortably. I think 3-0, they would have won that game. The chances that they had, arguably without a striker, they should have put the chances where they had. There was so many opportunities, so many chances. Trossard had chances. Gross had chances. They all had chances to kill that game off, and they'll be pissed off in that changing room, and Potter will be pissed off too, and rightly so. We've got away with one here. We've got away with a point, and yes, it's a scrappy point. And yes, it's a well-deserved point, or well-earned point, so to speak. Not deserved in my eyes. We should have got beat, but well-earned anyway. And it sets you up with 4 points from 2 games, which is a good place to be. You've obviously got the best team in the league, arguably the best team in the world next week at St James's Park. I'll be there, waiting to see how the guys do, and and checking out the Norwegian meat stack, as PK often refers to him as, Erling Haaland, which would be a worry, because if we leave as many gaps at the back as we did today against a team who has a proper striker, and I mean a proper striker, we could be in real trouble. I'm not going to criticise Botman. It's his first game. He did some bits good. I think he was very, very quick to pass back to the keeper. Now, whether he just trusts Pope or not, I don't know. But when we signed Botman, I thought he would get his head up and dink a few balls out left, right, and centre, in terms of his distribution. He looked a little bit cagey with that today. Every time he got the ball, he seemed to look back and just pass to Pope. Good position and sense, though, at times, got his head in where it mattered, made a few challenges where it mattered. Nice block, I think, in the first half as well, when Maxi lost the ball. So yeah, there's good signs from Botman there, but I just like him to get on the ball and try and maybe spray a couple of passes from the back there. Even Shaw did that a few times, but Botman seemed to be a little bit wanting for that. And I don't know if it's just first game, he's trying to feel it out and everything else, but that's hopefully something that won't be a regular occurrence. But going back to the balance of the squad, as I say, huge off balance in terms of, the striking options. If Callum Wilson's having an off day or he's being frustrated, and Dunk played him really well today, wound him up, got stuck into him. They had a really good battle, proper old-fashioned Premier League battle. Wilson couldn't get an edge on him. If you have another option on the bench, if you have somebody who can find space behind a back four, run against tired legs. We talked about Bamba Dieng, from Marseille. Somebody like that can come off the bench and just maybe be a little bit of a difference. Maybe even Nabroja on loan, that's been discussed. That gives you another option. Chris Wood come on. He turned as quick as a no shields ferry. It was fucking terrible. And it just shows you again that he's just not the guy who's going to come on and change a game for you. His touch is bad. He's 3-4 yards off the pace. Murphy comes on. Murphy just runs around like fucking Forrest Gump. He's got no end product, loads of pace, loads of endeavour, cares, but he doesn't have any quality. So there's a real worry there. I was disappointed that young Elliot Anderson didn't get a game. I thought he should have had a chance to at least come on for 10, 15 minutes just to show what he could do. He's got a little bit of magic in his boots. He can do something. He can make something happen. Could have won you a penalty or something like that. So I was a bit disappointed that Eddie Howe didn't give him a chance. And I'm not going to question Eddie Howe because I think he's a great manager. But that was a bit disappointing for me. We know what Murphy can do, as I said, and it's not a lot. We know what Longstaff can do, and it's limited. So why not give Anderson a run, with 10 minutes to go? Whether Eddie Howe just didn't want the kid to make a mistake and cost us the game and have that in his conscience, possibly that might have been in his mind, I suppose. But, it is disappointing. I think we need to bring in some real quality. When Maxi goes missing like that, there's nobody else really to create. And if Bruno's off, don't get me wrong, Bruno wasn't shit. He had moments of magic as well, but he wasn't as dominating as he has been. So but if Maxi goes missing and Bruno has a slight off game, there's nobody else, so we've talked about this so many times, the James Maddison deal's gone quiet. If Leicester want 50 million, just fucking give him 50 million and get the lad. He's a creative talent. He's got spark. He can score goals. That's the kind of game that James Maddison could win for you. We could be scrapping out a 0-0 draw and he gets the chance 30 yards from goal, 25 yards from goal, and he just fucking melts in the top corner and we win 1-0. That's the kind of games that James Maddison can win, and that's why you pay 50 million quid for a kid like that. So for me, I would just pay the money and get it done. I think the squad is massively lacking at least two real quality additions, one to play on the right or the left side of midfield, an attacking berth, and then a backup striker for Callum Wilson as well. They're the two main players that we need to bring in, because if we think we can go into a season and gamble on Callum Wilson being fit for 27, 28 games or whatever it is, it's not going to happen. His body will break down. He's got a history for that. He's a great player and he's a great lad, and I hope he stays fit for the whole season, goes to the World Cup, because he deserves it. He's a crap player, but he won't stay fit. He's not got a good track record of injury to do that, and it's a huge gamble. So I get we're trying to do things the right way. I get we're not getting my pants put down in the market and everything else. Now is the time, excuse me, now is the time to roll the dice, get stuck in, put a good bid in for a player or two, and just buy some quality, just add some quality to that squad. I'd be more than happy if Maddison came in, if Maxi sat on the bench. I really mean that. Maxi's brilliant, but for very, very small amounts of time. You think about how consistently St. Maximin's brilliant, and it's not very consistent, whereas James Maddison's very good consistently for a very long time. So for me, if that deal could be done, I would do it. But again, the club know better than I do, of course. But yeah, frustrating. In one way, it's good to get a point away from home, but I feel sorry for those travelling fans who've come a long way, planes, trains, automobiles, driving down or whatever it may be, leaving at 4 a.m. That was a bit of a piss poor performance by the lads. We were lucky not to get beat, lucky to come away with a point, but I'm sure they're going to have a cracking night in Brighton, or a cracking night on the bus on the way back, or whatever it is they're going to be doing. But yeah, disappointing. City's up next at St James's Park. That's going to be a hell of a game, for us to see exactly how far away we are. But if today's anything to go by, we're going to be light years away from getting close to Manchester City. So let's see some moves in the transfer market, and let's just add some quality to the squad before we get caught short. So this is Chris wrapped up for Evermore. Thank you so much for listening, guys. As I mentioned at the start, if you haven't already, please click that like and subscribe button. Help us grow. Looking to get 1,700 if we can. We're about 80 short. So if you haven't already, hit the notification bell. Come on board. We've got loads of content coming. The weekly podcast. Mark and I will be back on Monday, what's going on, and then we'll be back with the lads on Wednesday for another Evermore podcast. So keep it Evermore. Let's keep supporting that team, McCoy United. Hard draw today, but thank fuck we didn't win. Thank God for Nick Pope. See you later, guys. Take it easy.